Hello there, everyone. How are you doing today? Welcome to another episode of Renegades React. Today we're going to be... Sorry, this is a continuing conversation that just will not die. It involves a certain primate and a certain person's fear of that primate.
I'm not afraid of them.
Completely rational hatred.
I just completely understand they're vicious killing machines.
Godless killing machines.
Godless killing machines.
All right, so this is the 15 Craziest Animal Attacks by Top 15s. We recently viewed a video of theirs called The 15 Craziest Things Caught on Tape that included the exploding airplanes in the sky, the skydivers.
Yikes.
You know, and the guy who
That
said,
was
I'm more afraid of
ridiculous.
spiders.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So we've got these queued up. We got this queued up here.
Wait. Now, didn't a certain somebody request this video here?
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
Shout out to
This
him.
was requested by Mr. Michael Otherford. This is another addition onto Mike's list. So we're going down this, and this was one of them. So Mike Otherford, this one is for you.
I think he's been posting it for like a year now. So.
Well, it's been a pretty good while.
Dude's been waiting a while.
He's been persistent, and we appreciate that. We appreciate your
the squeaky
viewership.
wheel gets the reaction video as it happens.
Very nice.
I've just started a precedent, and that's dangerous.
All right, so here we go.
Roll footage.
Let's go.
Number 15. Jennifer Karen. Accidents during whale watching is a rare occurrence,
What?
but due to the size of humpback whales, incidents can cause serious damage to vessels and people. In March 2015, Jennifer Karen from Calgary,
trust fall with
Alberta,
a whale?
Canada, was on vacation in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, and was attending a whale watching tour. During the tour, a whale unexpectedly breached the waters and landed directly on the boat, and Karen was tossed into the water. She and two other passengers suffered critical
Breaching
injuries,
sounds like
and other
some kinda,
passengers
like,
quickly
fetish.
performed first aid on the two,
Whale
with Karen
breaching.
requiring CPR.
It's nice.
Captain
They
quickly
breached on that
radioed the
one.
naval rescue team, and a boat was dispatched to retrieve those on board, and the injured were rushed to hospital for treatment.
Did he immediately
Unfortunately,
go after the
Karen's
whale
injuries
with a
proved
harpoon?
too severe, and she passed away at 35.
That's awful. Can you
According
imagine
to the
getting tackled
local
by a whale?
emergency crews, this is the first
Imagine
incident
surviving that,
involving
just
a
be
weel
like,
in the area,
"Boss."
resulting in injury,
I mean, I'd
let
be able
alone
to feel my legs
fatality.
or my arms.
An investigation was launched to
Best
determine
first date
whether or
story
not the
ever,
captain
man.
had broken restrictions by moving beyond the minimum distance all boats are required to be between vessels and whales. And it was concluded the captain had done everything possible to keep a safe distance, and there was no way he could have prevented the mishap from happening. Further details have been withheld out of respect for Karen and her family.
Yeah.
Well,
One of the injured
as well
was
it
released
should.
from hospital soon after, and the second was transferred back to the United States for further treatment and has since made a full recovery. Number 14. Roy Horn. Las Vegas used to be full of posters and billboards
the
advocating
white
the famous
tiger.
Siegfried and Roy show run by magicians and entertainers
no.
Siegfried
I know the story.
Fischbacher and Roy Horn. Often stealing the spotlight from the men was their famous white tigers, who would perform tricks on stage for the bedazzled crowd. On October 3rd, 2003, Horn fell on stage, and one of the tigers, Manticore, grasped Horn's head in his jaws.
Not Manticore.
Crew rushed in and separated Horn and Manticore, then took Horn to the hospital, where he was taken into intensive care, suffering blood loss and critical injuries to the head. According to those accompanying Horn to the hospital, he said, "Manticore is a great cat. Make sure no harm comes to Manticore."
What a swell guy.
After recovering, Horn underwent rehabilitation due to partial paralysis as a result of the attack, and he went on to make a full recovery.
Ants.
Immediately after the incident, the Mirage Hotel and Casino closed the show, and the 267 cast and crew were laid off.
Oh, man.
Over the years, Fischbacher and Horn have refused to admit Manticore had attacked, claiming Horn had suffered a stroke on stage, and Manticore had dragged him off stage in means to help. Manticore
I didn't know
appeared on
tigers
stage
could
again
hurt
with
the
the duo
economy.
many times following the
you'd
attack,
be
with the
surprised.
last show on
Well, it's
February
Las Vegas,
2009
dude.
for a
Pigs
charity
pop up and
benefit.
disappear real
Fischbacher and
quickly.
Horn retired from
It's
show
just don't
business
go
in
digging
April
in the desert.
2010,
You'll find out why.
and Manticore passed away on March 19th,
Well, to be fair,
2014,
too, like a tiger
following
is
a short
not.
illness.
You can train them, but they're not
Number 13.
bred like dogs to be
Sankei Betsu
Yeah,
Brown
they're not
Bear
domesticated
Incident.
at all.
Between mid-November and December
feed the
14th,
Yao Guai.
1950,
bears.
a large brown bear
Hello,
terrorized
bears.
the
You
town
fed the Yao
of
Guai
Sankei
plenty
Betsu,
lead.
Japan, that awoke
Yeah.
from
I love
happiness.
bears, but I fear them
Initially,
too.
the bear
you know?
only stole corn
Yeah,
and
it's like
other
a morbid
harvested plants
fascination,
from
I
residents, causing fear amongst the settlers of the local livestock and horses. The true horror began on December 9th in the home of the Otter family.
Well, that looks
Otter's
sketchy.
wife, Abe, was at home tending to a young baby she was looking after when the bear appeared
Not the
and entered the
baby.
home.
Whoa.
It proceeded to bite the baby in the head, killing him, then pounced on Abe as she attempted to defend herself, then dragged her into the woods. Witnesses described the scene as resembling a slaughterhouse, with blood scattered all over the walls, and puddled on the
messed
floor.
up.
That was
Local
too
guardsmen from a neighboring town
not a Kodiak
arrived
moment.
and set out on what was believed to be the bear's trail, but in reality had headed another direction.
I'm impressed.
It turned up on the
That was good.
Mayoki
Also
farm,
angry.
where it killed
sorry,
4 people,
I couldn't hold it
including a
anymore.
pregnant
You mean you
woman.
couldn't bear it?
Expert bear hunter Yamamoto Hikachi hesitantly
My plan
made his
has
way
begun.
to Sankei-betsu, certain that the bear was one
I'll
named
make one for every
Kezagaki,
single one
and
now.
offered his assistance
asked
to
for it.
track and
Oh,
kill
no.
the bear. On December 13th,
look how
the
cute
bear
he
briefly
is!
returned to the town and
That's not
snipers
the bear
opened
that did.
fire,
Okay.
though they were unable to kill it.
I was about to say, he's the
Yamamoto
cutest
set
little
off in
murderer
pursuit
I've
of
ever seen.
Kezagaki and found him the next day, resting due to the wounds sustained the
artist
previous
rendering.
night. After shooting the bear in the heart and head, it finally succumbed and died. The incident is the worst bear attack in Japanese history, and memorials have been set up in and
That's a
around the
bear?
town to commemorate the deceased.
That's a heck of a
Number
bear.
12, the Connecticut chimp attack.
Here it is.
Probably the most terrifying incident on this list, Travis was a chimpanzee owned by Sandra Harold
You'll be
of
okay.
New
Wait a minute,
Stamford,
this we
Connecticut,
heard this one.
having
We'll get
adopted
through
it
this.
in
911
1995.
Oh.
Travis had grown up among humans his entire life and was noted to have high socialization with them, knowing to obey his owner, unlock
look
and
at that.
open doors,
Oh, yeah, he's
dress
just like,
himself,
"I'm
water
gonna eat your
plants,
face."
and feed hay
Yeah,
to
he's not
Harold's
monkeying around.
horses. However, Travis was not always kind,
Child's play.
and 2
Child's play.
incidents occurred, once in 1995 when he allegedly bit a woman, and in
is gonna get
2003
hairy.
when he escaped from Harold's car and held up traffic for several hours. On February 19, 2009, Travis left his house and Harold attempted to coax him back with a friend, Charla Nash. Travis spotted Nash with one of his favorite toys and it sent him into a rage. Without warning, Travis leaped on Nash and began inflicting horrific injuries to Nash's face and head. Harold desperately tries to get Travis off Nash by hitting Travis with a shovel and even stabbing him with a butcher knife, but to no avail, in seemingly infuriating Travis even more.
Just made him mad.
Harold finally called 911, begging dispatchers to send help right away, shouting, "He's eating her."
What is the problem?
Oh, yeah.
He's killing my friend!
Who's killing your friend?
My chimpanzee!
Oh, your chimpanzee is killing your friend.
Oh, see?
Rip their part, hurry up!
With a gun.
Hurry up!
Oh my
please!
God.
There's someone on the way.
We've done, please, shoot him!
What is the monkey doing? Tell me what the monkey's...
He ripped her
It's not a
face
monkey.
off!
It's
He's
an
ripped
ape.
her
He
face off.
ripped her face off.
He's trying to attack me! Please, please!
Ooh, jeez.
Medical personnel
You remember
and a
that.
police officer
He literally-
arrived,
how do you remember
turning
that
Travis's
story?
attention away
He
from
literally
Nash
went
and
apeshit.
sending him sprinting to the police car.
Whoa.
He tried to open the officer's driver's
I'm
side
sorry.
door. but it
Sorry,
was
you
locked,
knew what-
So Travis
you
calmly
invited me.
walked
You
to
knew
the
what to
passenger door
expect.
and opened it.
Oh.
Panicked, the officer opened fire, hitting Travis several times
Hey,
and
I'm
sending
chimp.
him fleeing
I'm not
back
so
into
chimp.
the house.
And
He was found
we're
dead
the
next to his
chimp
cage a short time later. Nash
I love
suffered
you
severe
forever.
injuries,
Whoa.
losing
Oh
a
my
hand,
God.
nose, her eyes, lips, and mid-faced bone structure. 15 months following the attack, Harold suffered a fatal heart attack, which her attorney credited to the long string of losses from a daughter to a husband and finally to Travis's rampage and death.
Wow.
Nash received
so
$4 million
sad.
from Harold's estate after an extensive lawsuit
Damn.
regarding the attack. In June 2011, she underwent facial reconstructive surgery to restore her face. Number 11, Gustav. Within the depths of
no.
Lake
The
Tanganyika
friggin'
and the
I thought it was
Rusizi River in
hippos there for a
Burundi
second.
lives the alleged most
Hippos kill
prolific
way more
serial
people
killer
than
They
on
that.
Earth.
do. They're
Only it
vicious
is not
sons of
human.
bitches, man.
Gustav is the name given to a 20-foot Nile crocodile, weighing in at over 2,000
croc.
pounds. While legend states he is over 100 years
God.
old, scientists estimate he was born around 1955. Gustav is blamed for the death of over 300 people, and witnesses
What?
claim
The
he will
Burundi
grab his
River.
victims in his
Holy
mouth
crap.
and then drown them before tossing the body aside. People found this peculiar, that Gustav would not kill people for food, but instead in a way similar to that of a human serial killers as a way of passion. Scientists say crocodiles can go for long periods without food, and Gustav can be more playful in selecting things to kill at will. Several attempts have been made to either
holy
capture or kill the
crap.
beast, and he is
Oh,
recognizable
I am
by
so
the 3
happy
distinct
Africa
bullet
exists,
wounds
but
from the
no.
attempts made on his
I
life.
would not live there.
PBS produced a mini in 2004 called
It's like a
Capturing the Killer Croc, which followed an
serial killer
expedition to capture
crocodile?
Gustav for
That is
scientific
scary.
study, though it was unsuccessful. His notoriety also inspired the 2007
Primeval.
film. The last known sighting of Gustav was in February 2008, and it's unknown what his current status or whereabouts are.
Oh, Lord.
Number 10. The Miss Teen Dog Attack. By her senior year in high school, Taylor
Not
Hubbard
dogs.
was
Leave
known for
dogs
her
alone.
beauty.
No.
At age 14, she had won Teen USA and was selected as Miss Kentucky Teen in 2010, moving her on to the Miss Teen USA contest.
She had such a promising
However,
future.
on May 5th, 2012, Hubbard had just
not a
left
beauty
from a
pageant,
senior
it's a
prom
scholarship
and was
program.
heading home to
You
change
get
into
that
leisure
reference?
wear
Let me
when she
know.
was attacked
I
by a
get that
5-year-old husky
Hey.
a friend of hers owned. She was petting the dog when it suddenly bit her face and held on fiercely.
What?
Witnesses stated Hubbard remained relatively calm during the ordeal, which could have helped de-escalate the situation, and she was rushed to a hospital. Doctors would not let her see her face at first, but she told reporters she could feel out the bottom of my chin with my tongue.
Oh,
Hubbard required 200 stitches to repair her face, and many believed her pageant career would be over. Hubbard refused to accept this. While in Puerto Rico, she met a woman who was in a car accident and would be undergoing the same surgeries to repair the damaged tissues, and credits this meaning for her feeling calm about the procedures she would soon be undergoing. Hubbard had laser reconstructive surgery, and doctors were able to repair the damage, except for a few visible scars under the lip and on the left cheek.
Wow.
Today, Hubbard continues to work as a model
Dang.
and has no
crazy.
ill feelings towards the dog that attacked her. Number 9. George Went
I was gonna
Hensley.
say, I have
In the American Appalachian Mountains,
tell
a
you
movement known as snake handling
Oh,
was
no.
created, which involves fundamental Pentecostal Christians holding several poisonous snakes under the belief one devoid
my
of
gosh.
sin would not be bitten and
This
killed.
is so true.
The key figure in
Somebody
the
I
movement
know actually
was
saw
George
one,
West
like, up
Hensley,
north.
a minister
Like,
of the
they're
Church
like
of God.
I've
having a
seen
regular
some
service.
guys.
Who would
Yeah, they
travel
were
to
having
the
like a
American
regular ass
South to
service,
conduct
and then
sermons
randomly
and
they
partake
just
in
get out these
snake handling
boxes
with other
and there's
members during the
snakes in them, and they
1940s
start
and
dancing with them.
50s.
I'm like,
After a
No.
series
this is
of
not
wars
indicative
without
of
the
actual
snakes,
Appalachians.
Hensley held
No.
a
That's
sermon
true.
in Alta, Florida on July
Yeah,
24th, 1955.
We don't actually do this.
Yeah, we're scared as shit as snakes, just like everybody
Bit
else.
by a
which he
copperhead.
wrapped around his
I don't
neck
like
and
snakes.
carried with
Yeah,
him
snakes are
as he
scary.
passionately delivered the rest of his sermon. All was going well until he returned the snake to the can when it bit him on the wrist. After a few minutes, Hensley began to show visible signs of illness and pain, and his arm became discolored.
No
He
kidding.
refused to seek treatment despite pleas from attendees
Yeah.
and local sheriff deputies, claiming his pain was a result of the congregation's lack of faith, though his wife believes it was the will of God. Henley died the following morning as a result, and an investigation ruled his death a suicide. The death serves
Sir,
as
this
an act of
Darwin Award
irony
is
for a
for
man
you.
committed to snake handling to die by his methods.
Damn.
Since then,
That's rough,
snake
man.
handling has been in deep decline, and a few churches practice it today. Number 8. Alexander of Greece. A peculiar entry on this list,
Huh.
Alexander was a king of Greece from 1917 until his premature death in 1920, which occurred under bizarre circumstances.
All right.
Alexander was a
Go on.
controversial monarch in Greece due to his decision to marry a woman not from royalty. At the time, the Greek
Marry a
royalty
woman.
was of
Notice the
German-Danish
dramatic
descent,
pause there.
and this
Marry a
resulted
woman.
in
And
the
then he
exile
keeps
of
going.
Alexander's parents during the First World War. The idea of marrying a common Greek meant it was possible to Hellenize the royal family, but people were split in their criticism, some believing it would divide Alexander's family into those who support and oppose the marriage. Only 3 years after his coronation and marriage, Alexander was out walking his dog when a Barbary macaque either attacked his dog or the dog attacked it. Sources vary. Alexander stepped in to separate the two, and in his attempt was bitten on the arm by a second monkey who joined in the attack. Alexander and his dog were able to get away, and he cleaned the wound and dressed it, but neglected to cauterize it since he felt it was not a serious injury. The wound became infected by that evening,
There
and
it is.
Alexander was struck with fever and septicemia, or inflammation of the wound and surrounding tissue. Over 10 days later,
You
on October
must,
19th,
if
he
you don't
became
have
delirious
alcohol on
and cried
hand,
out for his mother,
you
begging the
must
Greek government to
cauterize.
end her exile, though they refused. The government, however, allowed for his grandmother, Olga, to return and be by his side. Sadly, due to travel delays, Olga arrived too late,
Aw.
and Alexander died on October 25th, 1920,
Gosh, chimps
12
are 2
hours
for
before
2 for
Olga
being
arrived.
like assholes.
Alexander's funeral took place 4 days later, and his body is interred at the royal estate of Tato. Number 7. The Grizzly Man. The subject of the Werner Herzog documentary of the same name,
Werner Herzog.
Timothy Treadwell
I've-
was a
I've
wildlife
seen-
enthusiast
I've seen
who spent an
this
extensive
film.
amount
So
of time
tragic.
And I
camping
heard
in
about
Alaska's
Timothy
Katmai Wildlife
I
Sanctuary,
saw Werner
an area he
Herzog
dubbed
listed
the Grizzly
tape
Sanctuary.
of
Treadwell would
and
spend
his
the early part
girlfriend
of
getting
summer
torn
near
to
Hallow
pieces.
Bay,
Yeah.
an area
And
he dubbed the Grizzly
that should
Sanctuary,
not be released
and
to the
then
public.
moved to Kaffir Bay
People
in the
been
late
clamoring
season,
for it to be
which he
released to the
named the
public.
Grizzly Maze due to the thick bush surrounding the campground. Due to his 13 years of experience living amongst the bears, Treadwell had developed knowledge in bear behavior, including how to hold one's ground to deter bear aggression. He also used his experiences to speak with children about bears and advocate for wildlife protection. Treadwell also filmed hundreds of hours of diary footage depicting his interaction with the animals he encountered during his expeditions.
Jeez.
Despite his love for the animals and environmental advocacy, Treadwell clashed with the National Park Service on a number of occasions due to them not agreeing with Treadwell's actions of coming within
Thank you,
dangerous
Wilford Brimley.
proximity to the bears he would interact with. In October 2003, Treadwell and his girlfriend Amy Huguenard were in the Grizzly Maze when bush pilot Willie Fulton arrived by seaplane to pick up the couple as scheduled, but instead discovered a bear consuming what was left of a human torso. He contacted the National Park Service and
this is
several park
nightmare
rangers
fuel.
arrived, managing to kill the bear soon after arrival. Treadwell was 46 and Huguenard was a few days shy of her 38th birthday. Their cause of death was ruled as a result of a bear attack, and the perpetrator is believed to be a bear who had awoken early from hibernation. Animals who do are said to be more aggressive than normal. Treadwell and Huguenard's final moments were captured by camera audio, but no footage exists of the attack due to the lens cap still being on. Herzog listened to the audio at the conclusion of Grizzly Man and urged the owner never to release the tape, even pleading it should be destroyed. Number 6. Taylor Mitchell. Coyotes are a species of canine inhabiting North America, resembling a wolf but smaller in size and build. While a rare occurrence, coyote packs have been known to attack humans, but rarely is it fatal. 19-year-old up-and-coming folk musician Taylor Mitchell was out for a hike in Cape Breton Highlands National
that's
Park
really strange
in Nova
that coyotes
Scotia,
attack a human.
Canada,
Yeah.
in order to pass
Um,
time and relax before her performance later that day. A group of 4 hikers had just arrived in the car
Now, when they
park
do get
when they heard
overpopulated and they
screams
get
coming from
desperate,
inside the
coyotes
park.
are
They
notorious for
immediately set off in
jumping
search of
over
the
fences
cause
and
and to
killing
help anyone in
pet cats
danger.
and dogs.
While
and stuff.
walking through the trail, the group began finding personal items belonging to Mitchell, including her keys, a small knife, and later a trail of blood and ripped clothing
Oh,
leading
boy.
into the woods. The group found Mitchell in a clearing with a coyote standing over her. After charging the animal 3 times, it finally fled into the forest, and the group was able to come to Mitchell's aid. Mitchell was conscious and speaking with her rescuers as they phoned 911. All the while, the coyote stalked nearby, growling and making threatening gestures towards the group, until
Okay,
Royal
so when you pull
Canadian
out your
Mounted
gun
Police
and just
arrived
shoot.
and fired a shotgun at it,
Yep.
finally
You
scaring
shoot
the
'em.
coyote away.
I mean, honestly,
Mitchell
you shoot
suffered
the
bites
alpha,
to her entire
they
body
pretty
with
much run
serious
away.
wounds to her leg and
Coyotes
head.
don't behave like
She
that.
was
though.
airlifted to a nearby hospital where she was listed in
That's really
critical
strange.
condition.
Yeah.
Unless-
Sadly, her
unless there's
injuries
something
proved
wrong
too
with them.
severe,
Rabid,
and she passed
maybe.
away.
Could be.
Just after
Or if they have
midnight
a kind
on
of mouth
October
injury that
28th,
prevents them from hunting
2009,
normal game.
hours after the attack
Because lions
occurred.
generally won't attack
Mitchell's
people unless
death
they
was
have
the
like
first recorded adult
some kind of
death
deformed
caused by a
mouth, like if they
coyote
get kicked by a
attack.
zebra.
Over the next few days, 3 coyotes were killed by wildlife wardens in the park, and all were linked to Mitchell's attack after her blood was discovered on the fur. Number 5. Tyke the elephant. Elephants have become a recognizable, possibly morbid symbol for circuses across the globe. Tyke was one such elephant
Is this-
performing in a circus in Honolulu, Hawaii,
No,
for
not the
nearly
one
2
we
decades.
I thought it was the one
Yeah,
that got
under
hung.
trainer
in,
Irwin
Yeah, that's what I
Campbell.
was thinking.
Was that
On
that
August
was in
20th,
Irwin, wasn't it?
1994, during a performance,
Yep.
Tyke
Claim to
suddenly
fame down
stomped
there.
onto the stage,
old Thomas
pushing
Edison
groomer
set
Dallas
ablaze
Beckwith
when he-
with her trunk.
Yeah.
when he ran
Campbell
about
Did the
stepped in
electricity.
in an attempt to
Yeah.
stop
Thousands of
Tyke
volts of
before
electricity
anyone
through
got
his
seriously
body.
hurt.
What a
and the
bastard,
crowd
man,
watched
I'm
in
telling you.
awe,
Edison
believing it
was
was
a
part of the
royal
show.
twat.
When
Tesla
Campbell
was
stepped
rough.
in,
Well
Tyke
said.
violently
He was rough.
threw him and Beckwith to the ground
Tesla was also kind of
proceeded
a
to
jerk,
stomp on
but-
them for several
But
minutes.
he wanted electricity to be more free.
He was our jerk, though, you know?
Yeah, he was a jerk for the people.
He was the
Holy
internet's
crap.
jerk.
Oh,
Outside,
no.
publicist
Spaghetti.
Steve Hirano tried to keep Tyke from escaping the parking lot, but was thrown to the ground
gonna
and
say, that's
nearly
about
trampled
a
himself.
ton
But
of-
police arrived.
Look, you don't get
panicked,
in their
and
way.
seeing
Crime
no
may
other
never
options,
forget.
officers
Of
opened
primal
fire,
fury
causing
coming
Tyke to
your
flee
way.
into the streets
Nice.
of Honolulu.
I was
For
gonna
half
say,
an hour, Tyke
just-
rampaged through downtown, knocking into cars and structures along the way.
Good lord.
Eventually cornered, police and wildlife officials fired 86 rounds into Tyke until she finally collapsed and succumbed to her injuries. In total, 13 people were injured, and Campbell died from his injuries. The incident sparked public outcry about the treatment of animals and their use for entertainment purposes as a form of torture.
I was gonna say, why not
Not
like
long
a real
after,
strong
the city of
tranquilizer?
Honolulu, the
Not
circus, and
bullets.
Tyke's
Yeah.
owner,
Why
John
would you have
Cameo
that on
Jr.,
hand, though?
was sued, and the matter
you
was
get that
settled
quick
out
enough?
of court.
Yeah.
The incident also
Still,
inspired
I
legislation in
think there
Hawaii
could have been a
and
better
California
way.
concerning the treatment of animals and the use of them in performances. Number 4. Rodney Fox. A champion spear fisherman, Rodney Fox was defending his title during a competition in December 1963. Fox had speared and collected several fish and was diving further to find more
God.
when a great white
Yep.
shark
Oh,
smelled
good.
the blood of his catch and swam towards the scent.
Oh.
The shark collided into Fox's side and sunk his teeth deep into his abdomen, puncturing his diaphragm and ripping open his lungs.
Whoa.
Despite the injuries, Fox managed to fight off his attacker, surface, and wave down a rescue vessel, which took him to a hospital.
What a hard
Doctors
ass.
found his artery was exposed, and had he been a minute later from arriving, he would have bled out. Miraculously,
That's like the best
Fox
bar story
survived
ever.
the attack,
Dude,
and
he's
the
Quinn.
entire side of
He's
his
totally
body, from his
Quinn.
He is
hand to
totally
lower
Quinn.
abdomen, had to be stitched up
except he
with 462
survived.
stitches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
He's Quinn
incident
after the
inspired
first one.
Fox
Yeah.
to study sharks
After the
and their
first attack,
behavior,
I mean.
hoping by doing so he
Dang.
will help prevent further shark attacks without resorting to killing the species. He was also the first to design the well-known observation cage researchers and thrill seekers alike use to safely observe sharks at close proximity. Fox is still alive today and was even invited to lead an expedition on the first Shark Week specials on
Nice.
Discovery.
Very nice.
Number 3,
Cool.
In the
pitbull
well.
attack caught on tape.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh,
In Los
I've seen
Angeles,
this
a
one.
complaint was sent to animal control
no.
by neighbors of a
Oh,
woman's
this one.
pit bull exhibiting aggressive behavior, and the woman threatening to unleash the dog on people confronting her about it.
Oh, the dog.
Animal control officer Florence Crowell arrived to investigate and remove the dog from the premises. Immediately, the woman
Yep.
threatened Crowell, stating she would release the dog from home if Crowell didn't leave.
Not all pit
Shortly
bulls are
after the
bad.
woman re-entered
People
her
make
home,
pit
the
bulls
door
bad.
opened
Just
again,
like her.
and the pit bull ran out towards Crowell, biting down hard on the officer's hand.
Here we
Puppy,
go.
no.
Crowell
Oh, no.
desperately tried to tear her hand away as the dog's owner unleashed a barrage of verbal abuse and egging the dog on. In the meantime, a camera crew filmed the incident and attempted to help, but were forced to retreat several times
Yeah,
due to the violent
don't
nature
show
of the
any
dog.
more of that, please.
Thankfully, one of the neighbors ran out and struck the dog in the head with a 2x4, causing the dog to release its grip and flee back to the house. Another neighbor called 911, while the owner desperately pleaded with them not to do so, stating she did not want to be arrested. Crowell suffered a crushed hand and a punctured lung, but recovered from the attack. The dog was taken by animal control and put down, while the owner was prosecuted for instigating the attack and causing injuries to a law enforcement officer.
Also being offensive
Number
to the
2,
eye.
the Jersey Shore attacks. For 12 days in July of 1916, residents of New Jersey were terrorized by a series of shark attacks between Beach Haven and Matawan. On July 1st, 25-year-old Charles
Good night,
Vansant
Bruce.
of Philadelphia was bitten during a pre-dinner
Fish are
swim,
friends,
resulting in most of the
food.
skin and muscle
Note
being
they say
torn
nothing
away from
about
his legs.
humans.
He bled to death at the hotel he was residing in. The second attack occurred
going
on
on
July
a human
6
diet.
in Spring
What,
Lake.
you gonna not eat
Victim
humans?
Charles
No, I'm gonna eat
Bruder,
only humans.
27, was swimming 120 meters offshore when he was bit by a shark in the abdominal and his legs were severed. While rescuers were able to pull him from the water, Bruder bled to death on the way back to shore.
Yep.
6 days
As you
later,
do when
a
you lose
third
your
attack
legs.
occurred,
Indeed.
this time inland in Matawan Creek. Local boys were playing in the creek when 11-year-old Lester Stillwell was dragged into the water.
Wait.
Being an epileptic, his friends believed he suffered a seizure and ran to get help. 24-year-old local businesswoman Watson Fisher entered the creek in an attempt to save Stillwell, but was also attacked in the thigh. He was pulled from the water but died later that evening from blood loss. Stillwell's
Shark
body
attack
was recovered 2 days
in
later.
a creek.
Bull
30
sharks
minutes following
can't
the
breathe
Matawan
fresh
Creek
water. They
attacks,
swim up rivers.
14-year-old
Nope.
Joseph
Sure
Dunn
can.
was
Nope.
attacked a half
Pass.
mile from
I did not
Wyckoff.
need to know that exactly.
Absolutely
Fortunately,
can.
Dunn
Hard
was
pass.
rescued by his brother and friend
thought it was
in a
safe.
tug of war,
Nowhere near the
You thought it was
eventually
safe to go back
resulting
in
in
the
the
water.
shark letting go. Dunn was immediately rushed to the hospital and recovered
Soon they'll
after
be able to
2
swim in
months.
chlorine.
The series caused
the perfect
panic
pre-
among the
the perfect
vacation
predators
towns
in the
all along
water.
the east coast. To
I
this
remember
day,
reading
it's
a study
unknown the
once
species of
that
shark
the,
or whether or not it was
burn
more than
in a
one.
swimming
There was
pool is
likely
not
to have been
actually from
several
chlorine.
sharks, most likely
Oh,
a
is it
great
not?
white or
No.
bull shark.
It's from
Bull
pee.
sharks are the only shark that can live in both fresh and
another
salt
thing I
water,
did not need to
meaning it's likely to be
Yeah.
the perpetrator of the last 2 attacks. In popular
gonna
culture,
sleep well
author
tonight.
Peter Benchley cited the attacks
And
as his
probably
main
pee.
inspiration for his bestseller Jaws, which was later adapted into the hit film
Yep.
of the same name.
Yep.
And went on to
Number
spawn
1,
3
Steve
unnecessary.
Irwin.
Oh,
Undoubtedly the most well-known entry on this list, Irwin was an Australian zoologist and conservationist, known to the public as the Crocodile Hunter, a nickname he gained from his TV series
Damn
of the
it.
same name. Irwin was committed to
I grew up
educating
watching-
youth and
I
adults
love
in
this
Australia
guy
about
so
nature and
much.
the wildlife that inhabits
You had a
it.
turtle named after
Mostly,
him?
fans
Really?
were drawn to
I think
Irwin's
so.
seemingly
Oh my
eccentric
gosh.
and hyperactive
Yeah, he
persona.
discovered a new species
Aside
of
from
turtle.
television,
That's so
Irwin was the
cool.
operator of the Australia Zoo
He's
in
such a
Biawar,
boss.
Queensland, a position he inherited from his parents. He would frequently appear at the attraction to host wildlife shows in front of live audiences, where he would interact with a variety of animals, most notably crocodiles. In 2006,
Like, I'll even go so
Irwin
far as
teamed up
say
with
the only man
conservationist
that
Philip
looked good in
Gustav
khaki
Jr.,
shorts.
the grandson of oceanologist
Dude, he
Jacques
rocked that
Cousteau,
shit,
right?
man. Look
to
at
film a documentary
gonna
called
He
go.
was so
Ocean's
passionate
Deadliest.
too,
We're gonna
man.
get
During a
this croc.
sequence on
We're gonna
September
ride it.
4th, Irwin
Right?
was snorkeling in the
You
Bat
just see it in
Reef
his
off
eyes,
Port
man.
Douglas,
He just had
Queensland,
that-
He
and was
loved it.
filming
He
some
loved
shallow
it.
water
Yeah.
shots for his
The
daughter's
passion.
children's program, Bindi the Jungle Girl,
Oh,
after
yeah.
bad weather prohibited him and the crew from venturing further out. While filming, Irwin swam towards a stingray from behind. Startled, the stingray plunged its tail into Irwin's chest as a defensive tactic and swam away. Irwin was taken from the water, and he initially believed the stinger had pierced his lung and spine, but had actually punctured his heart, and the injury proved fatal. The entire incident was captured on film, and all the footage was handed over to Queensland State Police as evidence. After Irwin's
And
death
it
was ruled
should never be
accidental,
released.
and the Irwin family had all footage of his death destroyed.
Good.
Got an idea for a top
Good.
15 list? Submit it at top15s.net/submit.
I
Be sure
had
to
forgotten
subscribe
about
for
the
future
Steve Irwin
videos.
one.
Thanks for
I didn't
watching.
want to remember the Steve Irwin one.
Steve Irwin was such a badass.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, because I remember the Crocodile Hunter when it first started airing, and I was just like, oh, this is one of those dumb, silly nature shows. And then you see the passion that he had
Yeah.
for it,
Yeah.
and it drew you into it.
Yeah.
I mean, they had other ones. They had Disney had a few of them. I forget the guy's name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Jeff Corwin?
Yes, Jeff
Corwin.
Corwin. Yes,
Mhm.
I remember they had
Which
that
he
way
was
back
okay,
when.
but-
He was okay,
but
yeah,
still
But
nothing.
no, it's just he didn't have the passion that Irwin had. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong.
Oh,
Jeff
yeah.
Corwin is still a great television presenter, and is still, when it comes to wildlife, he knows a lot. But Irwin's way of presentation was
Yeah.
second to none.
Yeah.
And he could be funny too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, I remember there was a Sports Center commercial where it's a guy from ESPN and Steve Irwin, and he's like, yeah, if it were up to me, it'd be Crocodile Hunter 24/7. He's like, I know, right? And then they go up to this elevator, and the elevator doors open, and it's the Florida Gators mascot.
He grabs him.
And
What a beaut!
and Irwin's like, crikey, and just tackles it. Isn't he gorgeous? And it's just like, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's beautiful.
I remember those This Is ESPN commercials.
Yeah.
That was one of the
Yeah.
first ones.
Yeah.
That's so
And
perfect,
there was-
man.
It's like, that's beautiful.
Absolutely.
And,
Man,
I remember they made a Stretch Armstrong version of Steve Irwin.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, just deep down, like his core was just his love of animals. You
Yeah,
know? And-
that's all he wanted. He wanted to just be able to be around the animals.
Yeah,
and
and he
he
would put
wanted
himself
to learn.
in these-
He wanted to learn. He wanted to educate,
Yeah.
show people, and
And he'd put
how he
himself
did
in
it-
these crazy situations,
Oh,
these
yeah.
crazy risky places, and just because he loved it so much. You
Yeah.
know? And he always was like, he got like bit, he got like just destroyed by these animals. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't his like first like
Yeah,
tussle.
that wasn't his first injury.
Yeah.
No.
Well, a stingray though is the oddest thing that would ever.
Yeah.
But
of all the
Of
things,
all the things he ran with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
of all the things
I mean,
to
this
get
guy
the
messed with
crocodile.
I mean,
poisonous
the snakes,
tarantulas,
the snakes, the
Komodo
spiders,
dragons,
Yeah.
the crocs.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, snakes, Komodo dragons, everything, crocodiles, alligators,
and
It
then
was
the
stingray.
stingray.
Yeah.
Like the episode where he was on the Komodo Islands, like was legitimately scary because that thing, like he was up a tree and that thing wanted to kill him. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
and those things are just
they're not
heinous.
nice.
No, they're not. Well, Komodo dragons are vicious creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen them like tear different things apart. I mean, they are nasty creatures.
like the bacteria in their saliva is so out of control that they can take a drink out of a puddle of water, and like if something drinks out of the puddle of water after them, they will die from the amount of bacteria in their saliva.
That's crazy.
It's just
And
like
then a
it's
stingray,
It's like
you
the
know?
water supply in Mexico.
Stingray, it's the
And it was
shittiest irony.
a stingray. It was a stingray that got him, of all things.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest irony. It's the
I mean,
shittiest thing, man.
yeah,
But he always was like don't hate the animal. You know,
Sure. No,
yeah,
no.
and
even if it was vicious, just don't hate it.
and the
you
thing
know?
is, later his daughter would do some wildlife specials like that, and the fact that what happened didn't turn her off to that is
Sure.
No.
is a real testament
Yeah.
to not only her but to Steve Irwin.
Well, it's just
Yeah.
like kids grow up, their parents. Well, it's just like my my great grandfather. My great grandfather was an old school police officer. He it was way back when. He a public servant, and that's what he looked at himself as. He didn't see himself as an authoritarian who believed that he was above everyone else. And my grandfather also became a police officer. And you see, but here was the thing: my great grandfather was actually shot and killed by moonshiners. And then after that, I found out that my grandfather didn't hate moonshiners.
Yeah.
He didn't hate moonshine. He hated the people. Because you see, moonshining in this area really, it's blown way out of proportion. They treat it like it's a drug war. It's alcohol. I mean, honestly, it's not like it's not like it's illegal. But because it's not...
Yeah, that TV show is really stupid because people make moonshine all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I have friends, wink, wink, that make moonshine. None of them in this room.
Right.
I don't think so.
No.
But, you don't have to expose...
Well, it's kind of weird because actual moonshine culture contributed to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
One being NASCAR.
Yeah.
Generated by moonshine culture, actually.
Actually,
because they would soup up
Not
their
surprising,
cars,
actually.
And then, they would go out and race them.
Yep.
Yeah. It'd be like, I ran away from these guys. Well, I ran away from these guys. My car's faster than yours. No, my car's faster than yours. Let's test it out.
And thus NASCAR.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Smokey and the Bandit action.
Yeah.
Oh,
Eastbound and
I love
down,
it.
loaded up and truck it.
But,
What's the... Okay, have you ever been attacked by an animal?
Yeah.
Nope.
not
Few times.
anything major.
I've been bit by a snake. I've been bit by a dog.
I
Pretty
mean,
big dog. It was a pit bull.
I got bit by a cat, but it wasn't like attacking me. It was just whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
and a
being a
dog,
cat.
but
Well,
I mean,
I
it
got-
was just a.
Well, I got bit on the leg
It's
by
like
a
an
snake.
attack.
It was pretty bad. It was a copperhead. I got everything taken care of with that, and then I got and after that I got bit on the arm by a pit bull right here,
Oh, the pit
and it
bulls.
was and the thing about it is I was reaching down to get his bowl. I was reaching down to get his bowl and everything to fill it up with food again, and I don't know. Here was the thing. I was living in a pretty rundown place at that time. Here's how bad it was. My roommate, unbeknownst to me, was selling black tar heroin.
Ooh, yikes.
Well,
And here's the thing. I bought 2 laundry machines to use there, everything. A week into me living there and everything, I was like, okay, it's time for me to do some laundry. I open it up, and in the bottom of it, there's a wad of cash about that high out of hundreds and fifties.
and you're
20s.
just like,
and I'm just
I
like,
don't want to know where
I'm
this
just
came
like,
from.
I'm just like, oh my god.
I was
And I
saying
moved out. I
Vegas.
moved out. I
That's
moved
what
out
would say.
3 days. I moved
Yeah.
out 3 days later.
It's like, you know what?
Mhm.
Nope.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I was there, and he had a pit bull. He had a pit bull. Things seemed nice. It would lay on his lap and everything, and I'd come up and pet it and all that. Anyway, he asked me to help feed the dog and everything. I was like, no, I don't mind. What the heck? I come over and I grab his bowl. As soon as I grab his bowl and start picking it up, and he just latches down and everything. Like, ow, 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 ow! And I pull him off,
Jeez.
and he like starts growling at me and everything. And
It's just like, dude,
and
you
I
are
was just like-
literally biting the hand that's feeding you.
And, well,
Nice.
if I could talk to a dog, it's what I would have said.
Yeah.
But anyway, I go in and I put alcohol on it and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I tried to feed him. You're saying, oh, you have to take it over to the bowl and pour it in. And I'm like,
You could have told me.
and I was just like,
Well, there you go.
never took the bowl away. He's like, well, every time I tried to take the bowl away, he'd try to bite me. And I'm like, you think
Wow.
that you think you would train your dog not to do that?
Gosh.
Or,
And-
you'd think you'd, volunteer that little nugget of information.
Yeah, but anyway, that was the worst. That was the worst animal
D-bag.
bite I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad. The thing bit down, but it didn't like rip its jaws. Like shake its head trying
Yeah.
to dig in deeper. No, it just bit down, and I pulled away, and then I like grabbed its upper lip and it let go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've never been attacked by an animal unless redheads count.
well, in some cultures they are considered less than human.
I know
Well,
somebody
humans
who
are
got,
animals, right?
Oh, Lord.
We're mammals.
There you go.
I know somebody who got bit by a brown recluse.
Yeah. Oh,
those
my
are-
gosh.
She survived, although she was in a bad way for a while.
Oh, I bet she
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
I was gonna
good.
say.
I heard
remember
somebody-
this. Remember this right here? Wasn't a brown recluse. I got bit by a spider. I forget how long ago. The scar is still there.
Yep.
And I can still feel like the depression in my skin where it bit me. I don't know what type of spider it was,
but it was a bad one.
It was a bad one, and it got really badly infected.
I did know a guy. He sent me a picture of his finger. It was a
Lord.
brown recluse bite.
Yeah.
And it swelled up, and I was like, "Bro, your thumb looks terrible." He's like, "Bro, that's my pinky."
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Somebody I know also got bit by a brown recluse, and I saw it a long time ago, and it changed colors.
Yeah.
Like it would like over time
it
it went
does
through all the color scheme there.
All the colors of the rainbow.
I'm more like all the colors of the painbow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good one. Good one. But
yeah,
It's like when C-3PO met the Ewoks. Oh.
Yes, man.
Oh.
Yes. I will build an altar for you tonight.
And on that bombshell, it's time to end.
Yes.
No, real quick. My story about
Go
I've
ahead.
gotten attacked by a dog, but that's not the one I want to talk about. My worst experience was when I was 4 years old. We were living at this house, and I'm 4, so I love animals. I love all animals. We have tons of animals. I had a tarantula, which are badass, by the way. They're the coolest things in the world.
All right.
And we had Dalmatians, which are vicious bastards. I hate Dalmatians.
So I'm guessing you had a spotty relationship with them.
Oh my god!
Damn it.
You're on
You
fire,
got me.
son.
You got me on a roll.
On fire.
Punisher has returned, and it's in the form of one Benjamin
Hey,
Tolliver.
somebody's got to pick up the slack for Caleb.
Very nice. So we have all these like potentially vicious or like
Actually
stereotypical
vicious.
or actually vicious things around.
Yeah.
And then my mom brings home a box turtle. It's this
Aw.
little tiny thing, and it is so cute. Oh my
Wow.
You're
god!
just like, this is adorable.
I just had a repressed memory. I did get attacked by a gerbil when I was really little. I forgot about that.
See, vicious things come in small
Why don't
packages,
you tell
guys.
the story about your brother and the chipmunk after this?
Oh my
That's
god!
not a good story. I don't even remember how it happened.
Oh
That
my
was a
gosh.
whole.
This sounds
I've
like a
heard
good
that
story.
story, and I can't remember enough to repeat it, but it was great.
Yeah. So
Go
anyway,
on, Bo.
so I'm holding the turtle. I'm like, oh my god, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I'm looking into its eyes, and I know it just wants to talk to me. You know, I'm just like, dude, animals can talk. Because I had just,
no.
I'd finished
He
watching.
wanted you
You'd
to
seen
teach
Dr.
it.
Dolittle,
He wanted
you know
you
how
to
it
teach
is.
it ninjutsu, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. Master Splinter. So yeah, I'm just holding it, and just randomly, it's like my lip was a hot dog, and it just reached down, and it's just like snap. And it wasn't just like a quick like, oh damn, a turtle bit me, I'm crying, I'm a 4-year-old. No, it held on.
Yeah,
for
he's on there.
3 hours.
Whoa.
Hours. It would not let go. And
No,
then
it started trying to let go at the beginning, and it just took that long.
See, yes, it was that slow. Very nice. You're good, man. You're good. So yeah, and they didn't want to like pull it off because they'd afraid they'd like rip
you
my
take
entire
some of your
face
lip,
off,
yeah.
you know. So literally, we just had to like just use like tweezers basically and just like pick it off like gradually in different places, and it finally came off. But I was scarred forever.
So you legit like got to first base with a reptile.
And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Thank you very much for watching. Please, Nate, kill the video now.
That's a very short list of people I know.
Oh my god, that's beautiful, man.